You ever have one of those nights where you just can't turn that brain off? Like Sleepless. Feels like the weight of everything you've carried for decades is running this unhinged conference call inside your head. And the part that's so cool about it is that nobody sees. Nobody knows, because you've mastered the appearance of confidence. You're spinning the same place you've been spinning since the very beginning. You've been navigating choppy career waters, been trying to be present to your family and keep your money in check and manage your reputation. Let's not get started on health and fitness. That's a whole nother video. It feels pretty good when you're crushing life. But the stress, I think, is different than it was 25 years ago. I think back then, the pressure was proving to yourself how much you could accomplish. Now it's more about sustaining what you've built. Somewhere along the way, I think I decided that strength meant absorbing pressure, absorbing it without anyone noticing it, providing and fixing, accumulating, and looking pretty steady through it all, even when I wasn't. You tell yourself that that's what it means to be responsible. That's what grown men do. But what nobody talks about is this split. You got the confident man that everyone sees, and then the one that's awake at 2 a.m., running scenarios through his mind, anticipating conversations, trying to keep things from slipping through the net. Because at this stage, we're not building anymore, we're sustaining. And with that, the questions, I think, change. Instead of what will I conquer next, it's more like, how long can I keep this going? It's not about being exposed. This is not imposter syndrome. This is really just about landing well. And I got to tell you, I think it's exhausting. And for 30 years, the way I survived was by controlling the external, anticipating problems, outworking the uncertainty, absorbing the pressure. That's how I built my life. But lately I've been asking myself, what if the skills that I use to build this life aren't the ones that I'll leverage to sustain it? The second half load doesn't feel lighter. It doesn't feel heavier. It's just a different kind of weight. Now, for me, that's when I usually start thinking about God, right? Where does God fit in? How do I pray about this? Do I even know how to pray about this? And I'm not talking about the version of God that we memorized as kids, not the ritualistic version we experienced once a week. Something more like a partnership. I don't think prayer is about coping. I think it's about alignment within. For decades, I controlled the way I wanted to be perceived externally. Now I'm starting to think that the real work is internal. It's not about control. It's about aligning from within. Because what drains you now isn't the loading up of responsibility. It's this tear, this give and take, this division. When thoughts are busy, but words are confident, but feelings are anxious. That split, it costs a lot of energy, more than any workload I ever experienced. So maybe prayer looks different now. Maybe it's not kneeling and reciting. Maybe it's getting quiet long enough to let those three things agree. Thoughts, words, and feelings aligned. Not forcing the outcomes, not offsetting fear with performance and pay. Just internal alignment, peace, joy. I'm not talking about surrender, because we think of surrender as weakness. I'm really talking more about a vulnerable strategy. Because maybe the second half of life isn't necessarily sustained by tighter control. Maybe it's sustained by trust, by a partnership with God, the God within. Not a relationship with the God above, a partnership with the God within by realizing that you don't have to carry it alone. You built a lot. You did good. You sustained. Maybe now it's time to align deeper instead of gripping harder. I'm ArnieCAP. Thanks for watching. Thanks for sharing.